Hello, this is Ireti from eSchool Nigeria, and today we'll be looking at how to use word problem to solve problems in quadratic equation. So, and I have to tell you this, that the technique of using word problem to solve problem in mathematics is the same, but this particular problem that I'll be looking at here will only be leading us to quadratic equation. So one of the things that you are going to learn in this tutorial is the technique of how to solve problems in quadratic equation. So the first question states that find two numbers which differs by 4 and whose product is 45, not ID is 45. So if we want to solve this kind of problem, let's start. So we need to analyze this question. First, this question is telling us that we have two numbers, so and which differs by 4. Now we can pick the first number to be x, but we know that the difference between the first and the second number is that they have a difference of 4. So you can pick x minus 4 and x plus 4. So because they differ by 4, you see that is x, but because I like positive things, I'll go for x plus 4. So if you use x minus 4, you are still going to get the same answer. So we have those two numbers. They are x and what? X plus 4, because we don't know them. So let's take a look at this x plus 4. Now, but this question now goes further. Say the product of these two numbers is what? 45. So if we multiply the two numbers together, we get what? 45. Now this will lead to quadratic equation. So let's continue. X times x is what? X squared. X times 4 is what? 4x. Everything is equal to 45. So we say x squared plus 4x minus 45 is equal to 0. Now let's go to quadratic equation. Now that means that if we add numbers, we look for numbers that if we add them together we get 4, and if we multiply them together we get minus 45. And the number is 9 and 5. So let's take a look at it. When we have 9, because this is minus, maybe we have minus 5, minus 9 and 5, and we have minus 5 and 9. So minus 5 times minus 9 times 5 will give us what? Minus 45. But minus 9 plus 5 will not give us plus 4. So let's take a look at this. Minus 5 times 9 will give us what? Minus 45. Minus 5 plus 9 will give us plus 4. So we are going to neglect this. So instead of us to write, we are going to say minus 5x plus 9x is going to give us what? It's going to give us 4x. So now let's come back here. So anywhere we see 4x, we write minus 5x plus 9x, or we write 9x minus 5x, anyone that you like. So but I'm going to write x squared plus 9x minus 5x minus 45 is equal to 0. So let's take the bracket. So the like term here is what? X. So the like term here is x. So we have x plus 9. X squared divided by x is x. 9x divided by x is what? 9. So the like term here is what? Minus 5. So minus 5s divided by minus 5, that will give us x. Minus 45 divided by minus 5 will give us what? Plus 9. Everything is equal to 0. So we have x plus 9, x plus 9. That shows that we are correct. So x minus 5, then we have x plus 9. Everything is equal to 0. So let me quickly clean up this part. So now while proceeding, so we say x minus 5 is equal to 0, x plus 9 is equal to 0, x is equal to 5, x is equal to minus 9. So x is equal to 5 or minus 9. Now, so if we want to write the answer, so the product of the answer, so we have two positives and two negatives. So the answer is 5 and 9, and you see that we have minus 9 and minus 5. So these are the answers to this problem. So and when you put them into this equation, it will be the same. The difference the difference between the number is 4, the difference between is 4, and when you multiply the two together, you get your what? Your 45. So let's take a look at another problem in quadratic equation. Now, this is another number that another thing we want to go through. They say find two consecutive odd numbers whose product is 195. Now here, because we don't know those particular odd numbers, we need to represent them with something like a. So I want to use a to represent these numbers. I want to use a. So a, that's the first number. So but let's take a look. What are odd numbers first? Let's start from that. So when you have odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7. These are examples of odd number. But what do we see here? We see that the difference between 3 and 1 is 2. The difference between 5 and 3 is 2. The difference between 7 and 5 is 2. So the difference between two consecutive odd numbers is 2. So if a is the first odd number that we are looking for, then the second one that will follow it will be what? A plus 2. So now they are not saying that the product of these numbers is 195. So let's take a look at it. So the product of these numbers is what? 195. So we say so when we now multiply these numbers together, we get what? 195. So we have what? A times a is what? A square plus 2a is equal to 195. So we say a square plus 2a minus 195. Everything is equal to what? 0. Then we ask, now what are we going to add together to give us 2, and when we multiply together to get 195? Like I said, this is a pure trial and error process. So when we take a look at, let's take a look at what are those numbers that if we add them together we can get 195. Let's take a look at 13 and 15. 13 times 15. Oops, you just got 195. So well, you can be lucky like that, and sometimes you may have to do it like 2, 3 more times to get it. So the number we are looking for is 13 and 15. So when we have 13 and 15, so for us to get something like, so is that we have minus 13 and 15 or minus 15 and 13. Now all these, when you multiply minus 13 and 15 together, give you minus 195. But when you add them together, this is going to give you plus 2, and this is not going to give you plus 2 when you add them together. So this is out of it. So you say 13, let's say 15 minus 13. So let me write it very well. It is minus that'll be 15a minus 13a is equal to 2a. So anywhere we see 2a, we write 15a minus 13a. So let's write it like this. Let's say a square plus 15a minus 13a minus 195 is equal to 0. So we look for the like term here. So the like term here is what? A. So we write our what? A squared divided by a is what? A, plus 15a divided by a is what? 15. Then we write the like term here is what? 13. When we put in a bracket, so okay, it will be minus 13. So minus 13a divided by minus 13 will give us what? A. 195 divided by minus 13 will give us what? 15. So everything is equal to what? 0. So we are going to say a minus 13, and we have a plus 15. Everything is equal to what? 0. So after that we have a minus 13 is equal to 0. A plus 15 equals 0. A is equal to 13. a is equal to minus 15. Now when we want to look for these numbers, so the numbers are 13 and 15, or minus 15 and minus 13. These are consecutive number. These are consecutive odd numbers, and when you multiply them together, you get 195. So that is the end of this tutorial. We will surely see you in the next tutorial, where we solve some other problems of different dimensions when we want to use word problem to solve quadratic equation. I remain my humble self, Ireti Faliti. Thank you for watching.